Mama, what if your purpose didn't change? It just looks different than you expected. Sometimes the vision God gives us plays out differently than we planned, but we still end up exactly where we're meant to be. Today, I'm sitting down with Lalitha Durlin, a single mama, business owner, and community leader who thought that she would be in politics, but instead, she built a thriving cleaning company that serves others, creates opportunity, and gives back in the most powerful ways. Hey, mamas, welcome back to Mamas Building Businesses. The conversation I'm going to have today is so inspiring. I have Lalitha Durlin here with me, and she is the owner of Living Naturally Cleaning Services. Lalitha, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited for this opportunity.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself. You're a single mama, so tell me a little bit about you and
I
your
am. I am a single mom. I have an 8-year-old daughter. I have two cats, so I'm also a single cat mom. But I would say like some of the biggest things about me is I have lived many, many, many lives, and I have just persevered through those many journeys. And the only thing I will say that has kept me head above water and everything is my faith in God. And I just really want to inspire other women, especially mothers, that I've been in their shoes too. And I have, faced eviction. I have faced not being able to put food on the table. I have, faced joblessness, and that if you just like keep going and keep persevering and taking every life experience like a learning moment, that you will eventually come out of all of that. And the journey is not linear at all. And I want everyone to have grace for themselves, but also know that they can accomplish anything they want.
Oh gosh. Okay, you gave me chills, and we're just like diving right in because every conversation we have had has been this way. So, we have talked a lot about just not only overcoming, but trusting in when the path isn't exactly the way we thought it would be. So, you are somebody who you went to school for political science and you thought that you would work in like local government and be in some semblance of politics, and you own a cleaning company. And tell me a little bit about that journey, like how you transition from politics to having your own business.
Um, it was just life circumstances. I mean, I came out of college and I got a job in local government. I loved it. I did a lot of networking. I worked directly with the community. It was exactly what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, I got laid off, and it wasn't something that I was able to control. And I spent 3 months work just looking for jobs and searching in my field, and I just kept getting rejection after rejection after rejection. And this woman messaged me, and she said, "Hey, I clean houses. I'm looking for an employee. I'm are you interested?" And I was like, "Okay," and it was a very humbling journey because I spent all this time in school. I spent all this time working towards a corporate world. And here I am cleaning houses. And I just could not understand the like anomaly of that, like how I ended up there. It was very discouraging. I tell people all the time, I would go to church and I would sit there and I would just cry. I didn't hear a word anyone said to me. And it was just me asking the Lord to give me peace and light in my situation. And in the midst of all that, I lost my mom. So it was like just loss after loss after loss, and not knowing like what the journey was at all, but knowing that at the end of the day, what I did have is God, and it didn't matter if I was mad. I could go to Him and say, "Look, I don't understand what you're trying to do here," and He kept telling me Living Naturally, which was an LLC that I had. I started off as a little small skincare business. I did body scrubs and body butters, but it was never anything that paid my bills. So every time I would hear that, it was like, no, like that doesn't make any sense. What do you mean? I'm going to risk it all, risk the stability of having a job in the first place to invest in a business that never paid a single total one of my bills. And I ended up leaving the company that I was with. And I had an old client say to me, listen, if you decide to leave, I'll come with you and I'll pay you to clean my house. And the light went on. I went to meet with my financial advisor. The first thing she said to me was, you have your LLC already, just operate your business under your LLC. And I'm telling you, like the puzzle pieces came together in that moment. Like I just was looking for the wrong answer. And the Lord was telling me the whole time, I have a plan. I have a plan. You just have to follow me. And I wish I hadn't been as stubborn as I was about listening to that. But when my eyes were open, they were open. And, you know, I started off with 4 committed clients, and a little over a year later, I have 25 plus I'm building. Um, and it has just taken off. And I have discovered in this business that connection to people that I've wanted, that ability to help people working on a more grassroots level instead of at the top was exactly where I was supposed to be. So it's just been this eye-opening journey of like the Lord is going to have something in store for you. You have no idea what that means, and I get inspired a lot by the story of Noah's Ark. Like they'd never seen rain at that point in the Bible. They'd never seen rain coming from the sky. And so someone building a boat for a flood, people were like, you're crazy. But he said, no, I'm not, because the Lord gave me the vision. And I've taken that story and I've ran with it. And I just don't care how hard it gets. Like, this is my purpose. And from there, I can do all the nonprofit work. I can do the things that I want to do. I can work in my community. I can sponsor events. I can teach kids how to make money non-traditionally, like not going to college and opening their own business and how easy it really can be. So it's changed my perspective a lot.
I think that that is so incredible, especially because we do have a hard time relinquishing control. And because we can't always see the entire plan, sometimes it's hard to trust in like
Mhm.
the steps. I think I shared with you when we first met that like I knew I was supposed to do Mama's Building Businesses for like a year and a half, but I couldn't really wrap my mind around like
Mhm.
how it was going to create what it was supposed to create. And so because of that, I like delayed, delayed, delayed. And now, like jumping into it, the feedback has just been like confirmation after confirmation. So I really, really love that. So let's back up a little bit to your upbringing because you you were adopted and you were raised by a family that is very like kind of same area that I was raised, which is like kind of rural Pennsylvania, a little bit of a scarcity mindset. And I think we have to break through a lot of those barriers to step into creating something like our own business. So tell me a little bit about like how your upbringing not only impacted the way you thought, but like the things you had to overcome in that mindset as you started your own business.
Yeah, I was internationally adopted, so I actually came from a whole other country. I came here very young though, so I only really remember the United States of America. But I mean, I grew up really without means at all. I grew up on a farm. It was hard work. I have done labor my entire life. I'm very comfortable with labor. Um, and a lot of my childhood, I saw it as suffering. And I think if I'd never experienced that, I would have never thought non-traditionally as a career. I even my father owned his own auto mechanic business for 25 years. So I grew up in the heart of entrepreneurship. I saw somebody doing it firsthand. Um, if you talk to him, I don't know if he would recommend entrepreneurship, but I think it opened my eyes to firsthand seeing that, hey, I don't like, there's other ways to make money. Um, but I think also I was raised that if I went to college, I was going to get my degree and that's how I was going to make money. That's how I was going to break out of the poverty cycle that I was in. And when that didn't work out, it was really hard for me to readjust my mindset because I was like, okay, well, I did what I was supposed to do. I did exactly what I was told. I was I was top of my class. I never struggled very much in school, but it wasn't enough. And I think that if I hadn't had all those years of character building, if I hadn't really actually done physical labor as well, I was 13 years old, my dad had cancer, and my mom was working full time, and I was the one that had to wake up at 5:30 in the morning and take care of the animals and make sure that things were still running in the background. So I tell people all the time, I grew up very, very young. Like my mindset changed from being a child to being an adult at a very young age. And once I had a job, I paid for my own clothes, my phone. Like I just always had a lot of responsibility. So while I've had to get past what I feel was negative about that, I also see that if I hadn't experienced that, one, I wouldn't know what it is to give my daughter a better life. And two, I would not have the tenacity that I have. Like I've always known, like the Lord has always told me that I have a bigger purpose in the world. And I think that one, my helped me because they created a drive. Like even if it was for school, they were like, that was the one thing they said, do excellent at. So I was pushed and pushed and pushed to be excellent at something. And I think sometimes we can get in this like, I don't want to say like entitlement because I hate that word, but it's like I know how it is to actually have to work for something and like work hard towards a goal. And I've known that since a very, very, very young. And I've instilled that in my daughter. And I mean, she's just like me. Like she is full throttle in school, winning awards, becoming a student leader, you know, but she is also able to have that comfortability because of all that I've done and the healing that I've done to come home and know she has a safe space and know like her life is not laborious at all, And so it's like been really a beautiful healing journey to kind of turn all the positive that I did get and turn it into like how I mother and how I can be a better mother.
So I think that one of the most special gifts of being an entrepreneur is the fact that our kids watch us. And, it doesn't necessarily
Mm-hmm.
mean they have to go down the exact same path as us. It doesn't even necessarily mean they have to be an entrepreneur. I mean, my daughter has watched me be an entrepreneur and she is an accountant and she's amazing at it and she works for an accounting firm. It doesn't necessarily mean that the path is right for them, but I do think that what it really teaches them is that tenacity, the resilience, dealing with the highs and lows. And because I will admit firsthand, as somebody who corporate and my own business, the highs and lows are so much more drastic and emotional when you're the person responsible for everything. Um, so with
Absolutely.
with having your own business and having your daughter, how has that changed what kind of mother you're able to be for her from the perspective of like you still work very, very, very hard, but you do have control over your time. You also have control how much money you make. I mean, really, you do. So how has that changed the type of mother you're able to show up and be?
I think strangely it's detached me a little bit from my money because I am in control of it. So if it's not there, then it does fall on my shoulders, you know? And if I need more, then hey, like I have to work a little bit harder. But I think that it has detached, like it's detached me from needing money to be happy. And I think that I like lived a lot of my motherhood in that mindset because I felt like I couldn't give my daughter what she deserved. I couldn't do it on my own. I couldn't take her on the vacations and do the little things that she wanted, you know. And finally I am. So it's like, but still I think I know now that even if I don't have it, I know how to get out of it, you know. And so it's changed like that mindset of mine, but also you're right, like the freedom. I do work a lot, but if my daughter has an event that I forgot about, I can most of the time text my clients and be like, "Hey, I'm really sorry, but I missed something on my daughter's schedule. I need to be out this afternoon. Like, can we move you around?" And it's not an issue. And I say all the time, building relationships, no matter what you do, is the number one thing and most important thing that you can do for yourself and for your business in general. Because if I didn't have those relationships, if I wasn't, I'm very transparent. I'm a single mom. I have a million things on my plate. Sometimes things come up. Please have grace with me. I've never hidden that part of me at all. So I think like I see myself not only having more time, but having more energy. Um, and just having a different mindset about like I take pride in a lot of pride in my work because it's my own. And I think like you said, one of the best gifts is to be able to show your child that you are an entrepreneur and you are in control. And you know, I will move my schedule around for you because you're important enough for me. And I seriously don't think I could ever go back to a traditional job because I can't sacrifice that anymore. Like not being able to be there at school pick up and drop off, you know, and there are times I'm still not able to be there. You know, my dad helps, but it's not like it was when I'm working a 9 to 5 job and I can't get out. You know, I can't take off. I have an event, so I have to go to work. So I think in general, it's just let me pour more back into myself as a mother. Like if I see that there's areas that I'm lacking, I'm not so wrapped up in my job and wrapped up in everything that I have going on. I can take a step back and be like, hey, like I need to focus on my kid. Like I need to focus on myself and pour back into myself. And there are times where I'm supposed to work and I call up one of my employees like, hey, do you want extra hours? Because I really just need a day off. I need to just be home and not do anything, even if my daughter's at school, because at least then I know I can spend the day getting groceries and getting the house ready. And when she comes home, there's a more peaceful environment rather than me going and exhausting myself. And then she has nothing left. It's just not fair. Um, but that's a work in progress. I'm not perfect about that for sure. Being in my first year of owning my own business is, especially now that business is picking up, like finding that balance has been challenging. But it's something I'm really fighting towards because I want to show mothers that you can have both. You can have it all. You literally can have it all. You just have to hit that sweet spot and you have to have patience with yourself.
For sure. Patience, and also I think the grace to know that some seasons look different than others. Like there are times when you're in a building season where your
Absolutely.
work does get more attention. And then there are times when,
Mm-hmm.
you hit a goal and you're like, okay, I can breathe for a minute and now I can be more present for my children. I think the word
Mm-hmm.
balance, I sort of have a love-hate relationship with the word balance because we want it, but I also think that like we instantly think 50-50. Like 50% goes to the kids and 50%. Well, no, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's 80-20, sometimes it's 60-40. It just depends on that season. Um, okay, so you and I had lunch the other day, and we kind of fell into a conversation that, and I love the direction it was going because you are extremely involved in your community, and I'm obviously working on building a community. And you had asked me a question, and I can't remember the exact wording, but it was along the lines of, Why do you think there is so much comparison, and how do we help women know that they're capable, right? When it comes to business,
Mhm.
because um, I think that sometimes life just beats us down, and with social media, we live in like this state of constant comparison. And so we were talking about, how to help build confidence in women, in moms. So, um, in sort of aligned with that, I wanted to ask you how you feel that your confidence has changed since becoming a business owner, and also how do you feel like that allows you to step up now and help other women kind of realize their dreams and their potential?
Mhm. I think first, my confidence is in the Lord. It's never been in myself. So I think that in those moments where I wasn't feeling confident, I've always gone to the Lord in prayer and just been like, I wouldn't even say asking to solve the problem, but asking for peace in the moment that I'm in. Um, I really think that becoming a business owner has made me more confident. But I think really what it is that it's built my confidence in God. I think that I finally found an area of surrender and I surrendered it all. I said, okay, like I took my hands off and I said, okay. But also, as women, I want us to stop being quiet and stop being told that we can't achieve and told that we're supposed to only be mothers, or that if we're a mother we have to do this. Or I am so against the cages that come with being a mother and being a, a woman in general. And being a single mother, I hate even calling myself that because I'm just a mom, and yes, I'm by myself. Yes, I do it on my own, but that's not my definition. I'm not a single mother by definition. I am a mother, but I have always, and I tell this to my daughter, like every now and then I need a weekend off. And she does not want to give me a weekend off. And I tell her, your mom can't be who she is if she doesn't take the time to pour into herself. And so I have always said you have to have an identity outside of just being a mom, whether that is somebody who walks, somebody who likes art, somebody who likes something that makes you happy, that yes, you can share with your children, but it's about you. And I think that we get caught up in the I don't have time. And I think we do have time. We just think all that time has to be spent on somebody else. And so just take an hour of the time that you spend with on somebody else and say, hey, in order to be able to spend that hour on you, I have to spend an hour on myself. And whether that's going in prayer, whether that's journaling, whether it's taking a walk, it doesn't have to be these big grandiose things. But I realized once I started, and I don't even want to say separating myself from being just a mom because that makes me sound like I don't want to have that identity, and that's not what I'm saying. But once I started being like, you know what, I do need to drop my child off for the weekend because I'm not mentally doing well. And I need just a moment, maybe to sleep all day. And I know that not everyone has the luxury of that type of break. However, I think it's also important to teach our children boundaries and that we are people. And you say, hey, mommy needs a moment. Like, I need to go in my room. I need 5 or 10 minutes. You go watch TV or sit on your iPad or read a book. I tell my daughter all the time, turn the TV off, read 3 chapters. I'll be back. And taking that time to really grow yourself and know that you're so fluid. Like we're so fluid as people. And so what you might be suffering with now and getting over might be a different issue in 3 months. You have no clue what might come up that might stir something up, but it is that taking that time to like really work on yourself. And it's not perfect. I think like So many women want to be perfect or they fit in this mold. And there's not a single thing about me that's perfect. I love caffeine way more than I should, and I spend too much money on food because I like food and I like clothes and things like that. But that's okay. Like, I don't have to be a perfect person in order to be a good mother. And so I'm not looking at the next mother either, like, oh, she's doing it so much better than me. Like, what is she doing? Because you have no idea what that mother is going through, how much growth they've had to do. So I think that's where that comparison mindset comes in, where it's like, oh, you think everyone else is doing so much better than you, but when you actually take the time to have conversations with people and network and share, you realize, oh, we're really all in the same boat. Like we're really all just trying to wade through the water at this point. So I don't know. I say God is definitely my confidence, but also knowing that I am a person outside of just being a mom.
Yeah, that's huge. And I love the concept too of like doing it messy, like we aren't perfect and being able to take the next step, even though it doesn't look exactly like we think that it should. And I'm also a big believer that the way that we ourselves also build confidence is by like keeping the promises you make to yourself. Like it might be tiny. It might be that you go for a walk for 20 minutes or spend an hour this weekend reading or, whatever the case may be. And I also think that because as moms, I hate the term single mom too, and I don't use it that often for a couple of reasons. One, because like, yes, technically by society standards, I've been a single mom for like 20 years, but I have a really good village. And also, I think that saying single mom kind of like puts this like devalued thing on it, right? Like a single mom is like worth less than and we're not. Like we can do all of the things, we can take care of our children, we can chase our dreams and all of this stuff. And I think it's so important that we show our children, like you said, like showing your kids boundaries isn't just like for your mental health. It's also as they grow up, you want them to be okay having boundaries and protecting their selves and their
Mm-hmm.
energy and their space. And they really do, fortunately and unfortunately, watch everything that we do. So, um, so
Yeah.
you also like you're super passionate about the community. And so because you were talking about, taking a few minutes to yourself, tell me a little bit about the program that you've developed through your business, the pay, I can't remember exactly what you call it, but it's like pay for cleaning and how that came to be because I have never heard of anybody doing anything like this. And I just think that it is the most incredible program.
Thank you very much. Well, one thing I was going to add to what you asked before is like it's very important who you put yourself around. I think that that is also a huge part of confidence. But with that being said, I have a really good friend who she is not a single mom, but she is a stay-at-home mom. And her husband's gone all day at work and she has a 3-year-old, and 3-year-olds are a lot, you know, and I've been there. So she called me and she just was just mentally going through it. And I said, you know what, I'll come down. Like you she basically was like, I need someone. And I was like, okay, I'll be there like this weekend, no problem. And I just thought to myself, like, why can I not clean her house? So I took all my cleaning supplies and I showed up and I said, I don't want you to do anything while I'm here. I will clean the house. All you have to do is worry about your daughter. And tomorrow I will cook a big Sunday dinner. And so, I mean, just the gratitude that she had in that moment of just not having to deal with any of that, just being like, oh my gosh, like she couldn't even wrap her mind around the fact that I would be willing to do that. And there was a couple moments where she tried to like get up and help me. And I was like, I mean, you can help me if you want, but I really don't need you to. Like, I'm cool. I'm good. Like I got this. And I just kept thinking about it. And I was like, what if I started a program where people were able to donate towards cleans like this, where people cannot afford to have their house clean, but they really need it because they're going through a mental health crisis, or they're a mother, or they just had a baby, or there was a death in the family, or just anything where you're at a point in your life where your house gets overwhelming. And so I started Project Clean It Forward. And my goal is to be able to get enough funds to serve at least one family this holiday season. And along with the house cleaning, we're going to offer a fully catered meal. So whether that's actually on the holiday itself or if they want to choose another day, but that includes like an entire meal as well. So they'll get a free standard cleaning of their home and a free meal. And I think right now, not only did that situation inspire me, but just looking around and knowing there's need in my community, knowing that there's lots of people who could probably use somebody to clean their home and they just really can't afford that type of expense. And knowing that I have a network full of people that could quite literally afford to donate towards something like that, and utilizing that network and not being afraid to ask, like, listen, we need to show up for this person. I need so and so dollars. Let's get it done. And I think that it was like really fulfilling for me because it took me out of that like entrepreneurship stance into the community service stance, which has always been my passion. It's always been exactly what I want to do. And I'm having a lot of patience with the process because in my mind it's this thing that's like gonna get all the attention, and not because I want it to, but because it's needed. And it's thing. And so it's like that, like you mentioned before, having patience and grace with yourself. Like, hey, listen, everyone's kind of, their pockets are kind of suffering in general. So like, you just keep showing up. And I think for me now, I'm pivoting from asking the community to recommend people to using my own resources and my eyes and the people that I know, and being like, listen, I know this person needs it. I just need the funding. And so I have a lot of ideas like that are upcoming. I eventually would like to start like a subscription program where if you're a regular client of mine, you can sign up for a subscription and towards these free cleans. I have a lot of ideas. I want to do a lot of networking, but I am just me. So I'm trying to just do what the Lord is asking me to do, have patience with the process, and it will come as it comes. And I think that that's something that I haven't always had. Like, that's not the mindset I've always had. I want it now. I'm a very want it now type of person. And I'm learning to not everything good comes fast. So I'm trying to, and really it's the impact. So if I'm not making the impact I want, then my desire is selfish, and I need to check that. So I realized, like, hey, if you want this to really serve people that are in need, then you're going to have patience for the funding and the nominees. So yeah, that's pretty much my idea there.
It's so amazing. It's so amazing. And for anybody who is interested in donating to this fund, we will have a link in the description because I recognize, Lalitha, obviously you are a business that services locally. So everybody that listens won't be local, but if they would like to participate in the, gifting, the cleaning, and the meals to anybody, we'll put that link in the description. Um, but I think it's incredible because I think we really underestimate the power of a gesture like that. Like, we all go through, I mean, mental health is such a big thing, I think, in our country. And we all go through things sometimes where, like, the smallest act of kindness can literally seem like the biggest thing to somebody, and you just don't know. So I think that it is so incredible. I think that you are absolutely amazing. And to wrap up, I do want to ask you, so for the mom that is watching, who feels like the plan she thought she had in her mind is not working out and she's frustrated, but she sort of is not sure what to do next, how long to hang on to the thing that she thought was going to be the thing. What is one piece of advice that you would give her?
One, I would say dreams never die. So if you want to do something and that is what you know you're supposed to do, you have to hold on until you get there. I think another thing I would say is obviously please develop a relationship with with the Lord. And I don't say that lightly. I fully, deeply believe that that is exactly was my anchor, and also my life jacket during all of everything that I was going through. But also build yourself your own community. Like don't wait for the girl next door to text you and make plans with you. Go out of your way, network with people, build because you have no idea what connections you might make that are going to make sense in a year. And you might be like, this person does something completely different than me. Who cares? Like, you have something to learn from everyone. And I want women in general to get out of this competition mindset and get into, I think we can all do it better together. And who cares if the girl that is two doors down has the same business idea as you? Do it differently. Find your own flair because there's a market for everyone, and there is people around you that can be more valuable than you'd ever know. And so I think for me, I've been a more reserved person, but in the last 5 years or so, I've really pushed myself to get past those boundaries because one, I want to learn about my community, but two, I have so much to learn from other people. And there is somebody out there that's probably already done it or done something similar. So please like take the time to learn who those people are, but also like have a network of friends, really real friends, friends that not going out and partying all the time. Like, yeah, go out and party, but like friends that you can go to the bowling alley with and you can go to church with and to Bible study and to dinner and have a good time and just relax, and let go all of that go. And I think for me, when I started being very intentional about that, not only were great women placed around me, but they were showing me exactly what I wanted to see. My one friend own has her own house and rents it out to tenants, and she's 5 years older than me. And I was like, okay, somebody that looks like me is doing it. So all I got to do is be patient, and the plan is going to come to fruition. So I think like I know it's corny, but like your network is your net worth, but like it really is true. And it's not just like financially, it's like spiritually, mentally, all of those things. Like that's the people that are pouring into you all the time. So please don't be afraid to make friends and build your own community.
That is honestly the perfect note to end on, and I couldn't agree with you more. I am somebody who used to always say it, always, I would say it's so hard to make friends as an adult. And then I challenged myself to reach out to people on social media that, like, the people that you just are kind of like something about them intrigues you, but you don't know what it is. Like, you don't really know that much about them. So I challenged myself. I said, okay, once a week, I'm going to invite somebody I don't know to coffee. And at first, I was like, they're going to think I'm crazy. But that was not at all what happened. I mean, I have established some of the most amazing, amazing relationships by doing that. So um, it's perfect. Definitely. Find your people. Find your people. Lalitha,
Sure.
thank you so much for being here and for doing this. You're so amazing.
Thank you so much, Erica. I have enjoyed each and every conversation I've had with you. So I'm very thankful to have met
Awesome. Yes.
you.
Me too. Me too. Very thankful. And for everybody listening, if you are enjoying these conversations, please like and subscribe. We will continue pumping them out, interviewing amazing mamas who are doing amazing things. And we hope to talk soon.